The next day, Dylan gets up and wants some food. He's been sleeping on and off for about 16 hours now. My mom starts talking to him about how he feels, asks what happened. Dylan gets upset and just stares at the floor. I go over and try to reassure him, tell him that everything is okay and all of that shit. Eventually he stops crying and keeps staring at the floor. The man from the woods was here. What the shit? Mom is clearly panicked. I ask him what he means, and he seems a little calmer now. The man that we saw in the woods came to take me to his house. He said that little boys that are poor need help. Mom runs the phone to tell my dad to come home from work. I tell Dylan that this is not a joke and that he should stop telling stories. Dylan insists that he isn't. I ask Dylan to draw the man that he saw. He draws a tall, skinny man with glasses and a long white coat, just like the guy that we all saw in the woods, but as a kid's drawing. Eventually, Dad gets home. Police are called. Whole area is on alert and looks out for this man. This went on for about 6 months, and eventually, it all stopped. People started saying that Dylan was a liar, or had an overactive imagination. Now jumping to April 2008. I have some friends over for the night. Me, Jay, Christy, Natalie, and Andrew. Mom, Dad, and Dylan are away for the night visiting family. Me and mates playing games, eating pizza, and drinking beer. Usual teenager stuff. Around 10:30 p.m., we all decide to go for a walk in the woods. We'd watched Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, so we were in the mood for a fright. I tell everyone about Dylan's experience in the woods. They all laugh and play it off as a kid's imagination. Andrew says that Dylan must have slipped into a coma and was so scared that he used the man in the woods as a way of rationalizing his fear. We light a fire and get comfy, telling ghost stories. Jay goes off to piss. A few minutes later, Jay shouts out something like, "Stop fucking around, dickhead." We all laugh and call out to see what he means. He comes back to the group and says that it wasn't funny. We ask what he means again. He says that one of us was tapping his head with a twig while he was pissing. We laugh. That wasn't us. About half an hour passes, and Jay gets jumpy again. He says that he keeps seeing something moving in the trees. We've all been drinking and telling ghost stories, so we think nothing of it and give him a beer. He insists that someone is watching us. Girls get freaked out and ask to go back to the house. The mood has changed now. We decide to move on. I suggest heading closer to the reservoir. It's a 15 to 20 minute walk through the woods. Everyone agrees, and we head off. Suddenly, Christy screams, "What's that?" She points through the trees. We all look. My heart sinks. It looks like a man in a white coat. Stood about 30 feet away. Without thinking, I say, "It's the fucking doctor." Everyone looks at me like I'm a freak. Something seems different now. The man is walking towards us. He's never approached us before. We start walking back the way we came as quickly as possible. The doctor lets out a high-pitched shriek, like an injured animal. Starts running at us. We panic and sprint the fuck out of there. We get out of the trees and are back by the bench at the edge of the woods. We turn to see where the man is. No sign of him. Is he there? Still, nothing. Then suddenly, he appears from behind a tree, still running towards us. We run into the house and lock the door. The girls are crying and huddled on the sofa. Jay is freaked out, standing motionless by the stairs. Me and Andrew look out the window. The man is running up the driveway towards the house. He starts banging on the door. We shout at him, and Andrew says to call the police. One of the girls does so. The door is being hit so hard that it sounds like the wooden frame is cracking. I shout, "Fuck off, we called the police!" The banging continues. I look out of the window on the other side of the house. The man is kicking the door. His arms and legs seem too long for his body. He has shorter length, greasy strands of gray hair, almost resembles worms. He stops and stares right at me. His eyes seem sunken and almost yellow. I don't know what to do, so I just stare back. He looks back at the door. Then he runs away, back towards the woods. Police turn up. We tell them our story. They know we've been drinking, underage, and all of that stuff. They confiscate the rest of our alcohol and leave, telling us they will be back to see my parents tomorrow. Nothing much happens for the rest of the night, and, as they said, the police come back. I get grounded for a while, and nobody believes that this man was chasing us. We decide not to talk about it, and we avoid the woods for a long time. Now moving on to June 2010. I was 19 now and had gotten a part-time job, living at home and saving money. My girlfriend, Emily, spent most of her time at my house, and my parents were getting an extension built, a small summer house kind of building at the back of the main house. Friday afternoon. Builders are working on the extension. Emily heads out to work. I have 3 days off and no coursework to do, so I get on with some serious gaming time. After a couple of hours, I decide to go out for a walk. It was a nice day. One of the builders calls me over and asks if I know what time my dad will be home. Nope. Says he has something important to ask him, so let him know when he arrives. I think nothing of it and head off for my walk. After about an hour, I'm close to another reservoir. Not the one by my house. This is the Staunton Herald Reservoir. I meet Jay's mom, Karen. Says that Jay was talking about going camping. Sounds fun. Karen jokes that she hopes nobody chases us this time. Bitch, this ain't no joke. I head home soon after and start thinking about that night again. Get back to the woodland area near my house. Decide to go and explore a little. Not really spent much time in the woods since that night. I'm standing at the place that we had the fire. Walk over to the tree where we first saw the man. Nothing unusual. Spend about 15 minutes looking around, and then head back to the house. Get back, and a builder calls me over again. Tells me that they all saw a tall old man in the house. Ask who he is, as they hadn't seen him before, and had been working here for 6 months now. Oh fuck. Ask for a description. Old, tall, glasses, white coat. The builder tells me he was in the window on the left on the second floor. My brother's room. I go upstairs and into Dylan's room. Nothing there. Nothing unusual or out of place. I figure the builders were local and had heard about the police being called that night. Shrug it off and get back to my game. Jumping forward again now to May 2013. This is the last time that I saw the doctor. I was 22, getting ready to move out for university. Had some friends over, me, Jack, and Jay. We were drinking in the woods, had a barbecue and stuff. I kept tapping Jay's head with a twig, reminding him of that night. He tells me to stop being a prick. Good point. Hours pass and we all decide to search for the old man/doctor. We figured that it was just some childish bullshit, and that now that we were older, we wouldn't experience it again. Jack has his camera with him. It's about 7:20 p.m., so getting a bit dark now. We take photos and call out for the doctor to show himself, like a shitty paranormal show. After an hour, nothing. We carry on for shits and giggles. Jack stops and says, "That's weird." He shows us the screen on the back of his camera. He took 3 photos of a tree. On 2 of them, there's a strange-looking greenish mist in front of the tree. On the other photo, it's gone. We decide to take more photos and call out some more. Jay decides that he wants to threaten the old man. Says that he saw it on a TV show. What a dickhead. 10 to 15 minutes pass, and we hear a noise. Sounds like a dog throwing up. Lol, what? We try to find the source of the sounds. Nothing. Jay calls out again. The noise stops. Then, we hear another noise. Footsteps on dry leaves. We look around but can't see anything. Jack's still taking photos. I get my phone out and turn the torch on. Looking around area. Suddenly, Jack calls us over. 5 new photos with weird things in them. First photo looks like it was taken through a dirty window. Second photo, a white mist is blocking the view. Next 3 photos show the tree that he was looking at, but it looks like a hand is coming around the tree. We decide that this must be the spot. Call out again and again. Hear the weird dog vomit noise again. This time behind us, and louder. Turn around and see a shadow by another tree. Surely not. It looks like a man is standing there, watching us. Jack takes photos. The tree is too far away to focus in such low light. We get closer. Suddenly, notice a smell, like a mix of wet soil and shit. It's a disgusting smell. We call out and ask who's there. No response. We get closer still. Then, we can see it. The white coat. I shout at the figure and ask who's there. No response. It doesn't move. Jack changes the battery in his camera. Me and Jay move closer, literally about 10 feet away from the doctor now. We can hear him breathing, like a low, deep, rattling growl. The smell is so fucking bad. Feel sick. Get a bit closer. Can see his eyes now. He's staring right at me, literally making eye contact with him. I'm not a small guy, around 6'3". He makes me look short. I'm having to look upwards to hold eye contact. Who are you? What do you want? He remains silent, apart from the heavy breaths. Jack comes over and takes a photo. The doctor fucking erupts in anger, starts growling and screaming and waving his arms around. We move back and he starts snarling like a dog. We shout at him to stay back. He starts swaying from side to side in a really unnerving way. I have never seen anyone move like this before. It's hard to describe, like he's defying gravity almost. Jack takes another photo. Fucking madman. The doctor lets out a horrible shriek. I tell Jack to stop taking photos. Don't want to get butchered by a tall old man in the woods. The doctor stops, like perfectly still. As still as the tree he is standing next to. Absolute silence. We wait for about 30 seconds. Then, call out to him again. Don't know what to say. Hello? Nothing. He is standing perfectly still. Eyes still fixed on me. It's like he just shut down or something. Jack tried to take more photos. His camera had stopped working. Fucking typical. I got my phone out again and took some photos of the man with it. When we looked back at them, they hadn't turned out. I tried to get another one, but as I raised my phone, the man started running. We chased after him. He ran fast, almost too fast, like absurdly fast. We couldn't keep up with him at all. But then he stopped again. That same weird, perfectly still position. He turned and stared right at us again. I shouted out something like, "Stop running," or "Stay still." I wanted to get a proper look at this guy, or thing. He let out another screech. It was a sound I will never forget. Almost like a special effects sound from a film or something. Like a dragon or some shit. Then, he started climbing a tree. We ran over to get a better look. Again, he was moving too fast. We looked up the tree, but couldn't hear or see anything. I shone the light from my phone up the tree. Couldn't see shit. We waited for another 20 minutes, but he was gone. We stayed up all night drinking and wondering what the fuck had happened. We were all spooked. We uploaded the photos to the computer, went through each one. We went back into the woods the following night. Didn't see or hear anything. Soon after that, I moved away to university, and now I live with my girlfriend. We live about 10 or 12 miles from the woodland, but I have never been back to the woods. I visit my family from time to time, and I always feel uneasy when I look at the trees. I feel like I should go back to the woods now, maybe have another look around. My family still lives there, but have never seen anything else other than the dog getting spooked every now and then. The dog refuses to go into the woods alone, and when she goes outside at night, she refuses to move away from the house and just stares at the woodland. If you put your hand in front of her eyes, she moves her head around your hand to keep looking at the woods. As requested, my drawing of the doctor. I know it's terrible. He was around 7 feet tall, his arms and legs seemed too long for his body, and the eyes had kind of a yellow tint to them, to the iris itself. The smell that seemed to come from him was fucking awful. Like I said, a mixture of wet soil and shit. Like a sewage plant that had been covered in mud or something. Just for reference, here's a screen cap of the reservoir that I mentioned. OP's friend here, I found this thread by pure coincidence. This is one image of the doctor. Spooky.